Hello Access, my name's Nathan Dyson and we'll be here on every day of E3 bringing you the latest PlayStation news, games and things that catch our eye from the show. I'm here with Robert Pearson.
Hello.
And Rob, the very first thing we have to talk about is PlayStation 4 because that's what I have written down.
Well, where better to start?
Well, exactly. And last night the PlayStation conference was at 2 AM. So before even we start talking about PlayStation 4, let us show the people who were sleeping, unlike us, that's why we look like we do, what they missed.
There's no better way to show the strength of a platform than with the upcoming lineup. It's clear that people love Vita once they get their hands on it.
PlayStation 4 represents a groundbreaking new platform for amazing entertainment.
Your PS Plus membership will carry over to PlayStation 4.
I'm very proud to announce that PlayStation 4 will be available at £349 sterling.
Since PlayStation 4 won't impose any new restrictions on the use of PS4 gamers. When a gamer buys a PS4 disc, they have the rights to use that copy of the game. They can trade in the game at retail, sell it to another person, lend it to a friend, or keep it forever. And it won't stop working if you haven't authenticated within 24 hours.
So that was a PlayStation conference. And the first thing we should talk about is the look of the machine.
As it was finally revealed. The box was finally revealed last
And what did you think about it?
I thought it looked gorgeous, quite frankly. Very sleek, very modern. And I like the fact that it was also quite small. Because I remember when I first got a PlayStation 3, as amazing as it did look, it was beautiful, curved, lovely.
Well, they've been getting smaller and smaller,
but I couldn't actually fit it in my media unit that I had at the time. It was too big to actually go in, so I had to stand it on the floor next to my television. This one looks a much more...
Well, this one as well, the PlayStation 3 was a curved machine. It was a machine of round surfaces. It's really difficult to balance anything on top of a PS3, or on any of them, even the Super Slims. But this one, the new machine is angular.
It's a wedge. It's a sharp wedge of...
And it's got like the PlayStation asymmetrical design, which still looks sharp, but it's sharp edges. You're right, it's a wedge. It's going to wedge itself into all of our lives. And the little line in the middle, which lights up.
The blue light that lights up.
The blue light that lights up.
I can't really add anything.
No, it looks amazing.
Noteworthy to that discussion, other than that it looks really cool.
It's always like the form factor of a new console is always the thing which, until it's, and they made, in announcing the PlayStation 4 before they showed it, and they showed us the DualShock 4, you know, it left everyone kind of wondering. And just it's always the biggest thing. You're going to live with this thing, it's going to be in your living room for the next few years. But yeah, I was extraordinarily pleased, and it is very small, not quite pocket sized, but very small.
But very sexy, very sleek. I'm very pleased.
And there were the other big thing to mention is obviously the price. The price was announced for the first time yesterday, and it's £349, which is, I mean, we consider the PS3 when it first came to market in the UK was £425. £349, and I mean, this morning you pre-ordered yours, right?
I did. I pre-ordered one as soon as I got into work this morning. It was the first thing I did. Went on the internet and pre-ordered it. Like £80 cheaper than PS3 was at launch. It's fantastic. It was just
£76.
Wow. We're being finicky.
And it is, I mean, there are obviously other machines are available that you shouldn't buy, and this one is the most competitively priced. And not just that, I mean, I think it's fair to say that at the PlayStation conference yesterday, a lot of fun was had and the crowd was going absolutely insane because of features that were being announced, or really that weren't being announced. So the PS4's functionality includes used games, there's no. It was confirmed that there'll be no charge for activating used games. You'll be able to trade in.
No restrictions on it. You can lend them to your friends without having to buy a new license for it.
We should just pause this for a second, just because Shuhei Yoshida, who is the head of the PlayStation Worldwide Studios, he made a short video yesterday with the head of third-party relations, the guy at Sony America who basically gets games for PlayStation and PlayStation 4. He made a short instructional video about how to share your games on PlayStation 4.
Let's take a look at that.
This is how you share your games on PS4. Thanks.
PlayStation.
Well done, Shu.
I love Shu, and we had an idea for a feature for this show, which we're not going to do, which was if the shoe fits, which was us fitting Shuhei Yoshida into various objects, but we decided we'd probably get fired. So after the conference yesterday, Shuhei Yoshida on Twitter also, he joked that he was the front line of customer services on Twitter because he's very active and he replies to lots of fans. But yesterday there were two big bits of information that he did put through his Twitter account. The first one was that PlayStation 4 was confirmed as being region free, which is good news for everyone who goes travelling in the States a lot, Rob, like you and me.
That's huge.
And the hard drive is also upgradable as it was with PlayStation 3. So it comes with a 500GB hard drive and you can upgrade it. People are talking about terabyte hard drives.
Yeah, I imagine PS4 games are going to take up, you'd think, a fair bit more space than PS3 games take up.
I can imagine that.
You know, a hefty PS3 game will take up about 10 gigs of space, won't it?
That is a lot of space. I mean, I speak as a man who never cleans his desktop. I have emails dating back to, like, pretty much when email was invented, still on my hard drive, and I don't think I've used a terabyte. So, PlayStation Plus. That was the other thing that was announced yesterday. PlayStation Plus is going to roll onto PlayStation 4. So if you have a PlayStation Plus subscription at the moment that covers PlayStation 3 and PS Vita, and you're on the Instant Game Collection, say you've just upgraded now and you've got 12 months worth. When PlayStation 4 comes at the end of this year, your PlayStation Plus subscription is going to roll onto PlayStation 4. And on launch, Rob, do you remember what that means?
Drive Club
Plus Edition.
PlayStation Plus Edition.
Which I assume means a slightly different from the launch edition. There was no details on that yet.
It's not been confirmed yet, but
it means you get next-gen driving.
That's fantastic, a next-gen driving
for
game
no extra cost.
At launch for no extra cost. I think that's amazing.
The Drive Club stuff looks incredible as well, and that was, we're going to talk about the games shortly, about the games which are coming at launch for PlayStation 4 and all the other games which you caught a glimpse of in the very quick VT that we rolled earlier on the PlayStation conference. On the subject of games, Rob, the Gaikai library, Gaikai streaming, the PlayStation Cloud, which is something which is set to roll out in 2014. What did you think of that?
I thought that was awesome, and it's available for PS3 as well as PS4, which is very good news. And you can stream as soon as it launches in 2014, like a library of excellent PS3 games.
They call them, what is it, Legacy or what do they call them?
I don't know.
Begins with an H.
Good.
Yeah, good. They call them good games. But the idea is that it's going to begin with kind of top tier PS3 games and it's going to expand to PlayStation 2 and PlayStation games. Like, I never really know what to make.
It's the future.
It is the future. When people say cloud,
it's here now.
I kind of think, I'm suspicious of things that don't exist in my house. But if the PlayStation Cloud can offer me games from PlayStation, PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 3, and it's available on PlayStation 3 as well as PlayStation 4.
That's amazing. I wasn't expecting that at all.
It kind of increases
the PS4 thing.
Yeah, it increases the functionality of your PlayStation 3 like an enormous amount. I mean, that is big news. And the other thing they did last night, Rob, was reiterated that PlayStation Vita had been designed to work hand in hand with the architecture of PlayStation 4. And again, Shuhei Yoshida, he's not the only person I follow on Twitter, I promise, but he was talking on Twitter about how PlayStation Vita streaming from PlayStation 4, remote play, will be standard unless there are features on the DualShock 4 which a particular game needs, which means that, so unless a game particularly uses, I don't even know what it might use on the DualShock, the accelerometers or whatever it might be, unless it uses something specific that the PlayStation Vita can't do, as standard you're going to be able to play your PlayStation 4 games on your PlayStation Vita.
That's amazing. I'm going to be in bed playing PlayStation 4 games.
The dawning of a new generation means Rob's going to be in bed.
4 games.
That's a lovely thought. While we're here, we should say that we have a video on PlayStation 4 specs which you should check out. which is on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/PlayStation Access. Join the debate there, a heated debate.
The video, if you're feeling maybe slightly confused by all the big numbers and technical words and computer jargon that's being bandied about with the PS4 tech
what
specs.
What does GDDR RAM, Rob?
GDDR5 RAM.
Yeah, or teraflops, which are
1.84 teraflops.
Flops. Do you know what a flop is? What does a flop stand for?
I don't know.
It's a floating point operation.
Obviously. Watch the video and you'll find out.
You wrote the video.
Shush. And an AMD x86-64 processor.
Oh,
you get to find out what one of those is as well.
So go and see. So yes, so now we know everything about PlayStation 4. We know the insides of it, we know what it looks outside, we know how much it's going to cost, and we know how awesome it's going to be. Very shortly, Rob, we're going to be talking about the games that are coming to PlayStation 4 and also some of the awesome stuff that's on PlayStation 3, but shouldn't you be about to do the news briefing roundup?
Good evening. Thousands of eager gamers and industry professionals have flocked to the convention center in downtown Los Angeles for the 19th annual Electronic Entertainment Expo, but they weren't the only ones flocking. Noted has been an unusual amount of avian activity, with reports of birds invading a huge number of game trailers. Here's me with more. Birds, 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 birds. It's like that film, isn't it? That Hitchcock one. What's it called? Also winging it was Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag producer Arno, when the live demo for his game crashed right at the good bit. He then looked really sad, which prompted spontaneous applause and cheering from the crowd, showing that people still love Assassin's Creed even before it's finished. Also, Black Flag is currently winning the race for best leaf physics in a game, putting PS4's 1.84 teraflops of graphical clout to good use. But no matter how many floating point operations per second you can calculate, that number pales in comparison to the amount of decibels churned out by EA at their E3 press conference, where the crowd was positively bouncing, which just goes to show how powerful NBA Live 14's all-new bounce tech really is. Cleveland Cavaliers star Kyrie Irving was there to let everyone know how excited he was about the game, before LeBron James took to the stage at the Sony conference to see if he could out-bounce his rival with NBA 2K14. That is a big mouth. Back to EA, and DICE announced Mirror's Edge 2, which subsequently announced through its trailer that it would be ready when it's ready, so stop whining. Also,
Peggle 2!
over at the Ubisoft conference, Watch Dogs showed off a future where table prices have soared to such outrageous highs that even the very rich have to eat off ladies, and also where people are allergic to water. In other news, multiplayer-friendly Racer The Crew showed off not only some very pretty online racing, but also, as observed by official PlayStation Magazine's Joel Gregory, the calmest bathers on PS4. And finally, despite showing off a console hotter than the core of the sun, Sony's Jack Tretton and Andrew House still found time to reveal their favourite PlayStation video show.
Access.
Access.
Access. Back to the studio.
Good news, Rob.
Did you enjoy my news?
I did. I can see you come straight from the news as well.
Yeah, I've still got my tie on.
Yeah, I can see that. So, well, now we're going to talk about games.
Games.
There were so many games. We're looking at this list now and just thinking, are we going to be able to get through them all? I mean, it started off with, there were some PlayStation Vita games. The Walking Dead is the type with PlayStation Vita. It's coming to Vita.
That's huge.
The new bit's going to be on Vita. I know, I embarrassingly still haven't played it. It's on my playlist.
So, same here. I'm definitely going to play it now. It's coming to Vita.
It's going to be huge.
It's going to be amazing.
PlayStation 3, we're all excited about PlayStation 4, but there's so much, and I mean, until yesterday, until I saw PlayStation 4, all I was thinking about was, I don't care, I've got The Last of Us. Because you and I have completed The Last of Us.
The Last of Us.
And it's amazing.
Well, we can't really say anything
right
else
there.
because the best thing about it is discovering everything in that game without knowing anything. So just know that it's probably the game of the generation.
Although having said that, there are loads of other videos on our channel that you should definitely watch about The Last of Us.
Yeah.
And also Rain, which is a PlayStation, it's coming to PlayStation Network later on this year.
It looks beautiful.
We have an interview which you can watch on our channel. GT6, I think the only thing I'm qualified to say, there were a lot of car games at E3 last night. This is the cariest of all games.
There were a lot of car games that were very arcadey, you know, you've got Drive Club and The Crew and Need for Speed, The Rivals.
Yeah.
For
it's a sliding scale.
For a sim, Gran Turismo 6.
And there's new everything. There's new
daddy.
Yes. Yeah, it still is, definitely. We have a history of GC video, if you'd like to catch up on that. Completely serious one. And then there was Beyond Two Souls, and we saw, for all David Cage's talk of emotion, there were a lot of guns.
That was probably the most surprising thing at E3. Was, well, the PS3 section. Was, like Ellen Page's character, Jodie, going through an Afghan war zone.
She was CIA
shooting
training.
Lots of people.
I guess it makes it easier to be
punched.
If you're a CIA agent and you have like a kind of will-o'-the-wisp helper.
Yeah,
it does help you.
It really opened up a whole new area of the story that we had, well, previously no idea existed.
Yeah, you kind of look at that game and you think it's going to be, even with the supernatural element, you kind of know where it's going if you've played Heavy Rain, and then suddenly, you know, you're fighting terrorist dudes.
It makes you think what else is going to be in that game, because we already know it's going to take place across Jodie's life, a long period of her life.
She grows up.
Loads of stuff in there that we just have no idea.
So lots and lots coming for PlayStation 3. Actually, other good news for PlayStation 3. There is a GTA 5 bundle. They've kind of, the relationship, there's exclusivity coming. They've squeezed there's a partnership with Rockstar, which imminently means there's a PS3 bundle arriving in the autumn, and there is also a Pulse headset with, which is GTA 5 branded. And I would say, as an owner of a Pulse headset, this can only be a good thing. They're very comfortable. I know you don't have one, Rob, but don't feel bitter.
And there's some very comfortable headphones.
Okay, good. Let's not get into that. There's also exclusive stuff coming for Batman Arkham Origins. There's a Nightfall character and Adam West Batman, who also looks like didn't get to the gym this week. Batman. The Nightfall character does.
I think
look
Adam
cool.
West Batman looked far more muscular than Adam West actually looked in the TV show.
That is true. That still leaves a lot of room for him not to have been to the gym this week.
And did you all notice Troy Baker as the voice of the Joker?
I did, but to be honest,
voice of the Joker.
It's as a compliment to Troy Baker, who was, I think, he's the voice of E3 this year.
Yeah.
I didn't immediately know.
I only knew it because I already knew it.
Yeah, exactly.
But
no,
the voice.
There are some other trailers in it.
I can't think he's a hero.
But moving swiftly along, Rob, because PlayStation 4 games, and there were tons of them. Yeah, that thing. There was Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag gameplay at the Sony conference, and Watch Dogs. But before all that, there was Octodad,
which had us nearly crying with laughter.
It's amazing.
There was this amazing section where, you know, all the cool indie games were detailed, and Octodad, just this amazing cephalopod.
Yeah, the movement.
Floating around in a suit. It was fantastic.
And there was a really,
I can't wait for Octodad.
It was a really good section as well, just kind of demonstrating PlayStation 4's commitment to indie games and indie developers, and the kind of self-publishing model which they've gone for. And the stage was full of the kind of experiences that you've not even really been able to have on PlayStation 3.
Fantastic as well, the games. Lorne Lanning with the new Abe game as well.
He's Batman for Oddworld.
That's huge.
It's unbelievable. No, it's really good. And I mean, the other thing for people who kind of keep an eye on smaller games, Supergiant's appearance with Transistor was a huge thing. Bastion was like one of the biggest kind of smaller titles of the last couple of years. Transistor looks great, and the fact it's coming to PlayStation 4, also amazing. I was really flippant about Assassin's Creed 4 and Watch Dogs, but why don't we talk about, as an Assassin's Creed man, tell me what you thought. I was trying to make a pirate joke, but I can't think of it. Tell me what you thought.
Well, Assassin's Creed 3, as beautiful and ambitious a game as it was, didn't captivate me in the same way that Assassin's Creed 2 did. So I was slightly worried about Assassin's Creed 4, but I think all my concerns have been
blown out of the water.
Blown out of the water by a massive cannon.
Yes, that man's beard is massive. That's Blackbeard, right?
Yeah.
Good. That
Edward Kenway
if he was
instantly looks like a more likeable character than Connor was. You know, he's a pirate.
Yeah.
You can't dislike pirates. He's got loads of guns. The set pieces look amazing. Can I also say that it had some of the best looking action scenes as well?
It did, even though we're talking about like boats, like a giant ship, and he kind of free runs through like West Indian jungle, jumps onto a ship, grabs and it's like it just takes off. It's like
what really impressed me was the kind of
GTA.
seamless transition between third-person free running, and then you get on the boat, and straight away he was in control of the boat and having these amazing naval battles. Whereas in Assassin's Creed 3, it is very fractured.
Yeah.
there would be definite parts saying this is the end of the sneaking bit.
Yeah.
Now you're playing the boat bit. And it looked a lot more seamless in Assassin's Creed 4, and really, really pretty as well, obviously, on PS4.
It looked fantastic. I will say it maybe glamorises the life of a pirate. I imagine being a pirate was really hard, and you were mostly murdering dudes and like killing stuff and stealing stuff, right?
That's Assassin's Creed.
I guess it is, yeah.
And
yeah.
all the men you kill deserve it.
Do they?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine then. And then Watch Dogs, which has been creeping up on me. It was one of the most there was a huge bubble of excitement around Watch Dogs at E3 last year.
Yeah.
We're getting to see more and more of the game. There was a gameplay again at the Sony conference yesterday. They kind of showed a mission. The world just seems kind of, I mean, this is the point of the game, but it really does seem interactive in a way which I don't think I've seen in an action game that moves that fast before.
I was really impressed by the driving. When you got into the car and started driving off, I was like, wow, they've done driving.
They've
They've nailed it as well.
Well, I thought the same about the boats at the end. I like the driving. I could hear, it's a minor thing, but it, it makes me happy that he was shifting gears and there was a really satisfying gear shift noise. Listen out for it next time you see the trailer.
And I also love the way he was escaping from the cops and kind of shut the garage door with his phone. Everything with his phone. Sneaking through that little stealth section as well, where he was adjusting the height of those bits of
the
bizarre electronic cover with his phone.
I mean, the world, it's not just the interactive kind of, I think it can be quite easy for kind of a cyberpunk aesthetic to get old pretty quickly, but the whole world has got a pretty unique look to it, and I love the way the character's dressed. I love his long coat. It reminds me of Flashback, a game which I enjoyed in my youth and will hopefully be enjoying again soon with a HD remake. And the whole world kind of reminds me of Blade Runner, much in the same way the PlayStation 4 itself does, which makes me happy now.
Well, I think the bottom line is Ubisoft are bringing some awesome games to the PS4 party.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they totally are. But there is loads more coming as well. Shuhei Yoshida again. Not that I keep banging on about Shuhei Yoshida, but he's so lovable.
Nathan's best friend.
I wish he was. I'm going to tweet him later and see if he replies. He announced that Killzone, Drive Club and Knack were going to be launch titles for PlayStation 4, with Infamous Second Son coming in Q1 2014. Killzone Shadowfall just looks ridiculous.
When I get my PS4 that I have pre-ordered,
yes, you did.
Killzone Shadowfall is going to be one of the games I get at launch.
Yeah,
amazing.
Like, big shooters are a huge thing. That wisdom is that you should launch your console with an incredible shooter. That series has gone from strength to strength. From PlayStation 2, where I remember lots of hopes were pinned on it because the competition was fierce at that time, cross-console. So it's really come into its own. So now, looking, I mean, there is not a shooter that certainly looks anything like as I don't know, man. The green, it used to be a grey, dark world, which I enjoyed, but now the kind of the greens and the colour that's coming out of that game look amazing.
That'll be the GDDR5 RAM.
Yeah, of course it will. Yeah, and Knack as well. Which I re-watched the trailer for Knack this morning, and there's depth to that game. There's light and shade to that game in a way which I'm really looking forward to playing as well. It looks like classic PlayStation adventure.
Maybe it can be as big as Ratchet and Clank.
Man, that would be amazing.
It looks,
love Ratchet.
Colourful, fun. Looks like a really good fun game.
And the other thing came out of nowhere yesterday. Ready at Dawn Studios, who PlayStation gamers will know for some properly amazing work on PSP. They made 2 God of War games, and they made the original Daxter game, I think. And they now have got like a shot at PS4 with the order, I've forgotten the year, 1886? 1886.
1886, yeah.
Kind of foggy London. What did you make of that trailer?
I thought it was probably the most intriguing thing I saw, new IP wise.
Like immediately,
immediately I thought that looks a bit Dishonored, looks a bit steampunky.
Yeah, it looks a bit.
It came out and it was in London.
Yeah.
But like an alternate history London. It's got like airships in the sky.
A massive guns.
And then they all got out the guns, which looked like they,
I was thinking, is this going to be like Jack the Ripper? Is it going to be like running down cobbled streets, noting stuff?
No, it's
guns.
I'm going to be shooting you with my plasma bolt.
Yeah, it's
mega rifle.
It's kind of got that kind of steampunk aesthetic, but just with bigger weapons. And they didn't I was thinking the rifle's going to, it's going to be like one shot and we'll reload. No, that thing was like repeat fire.
That was an in-engine trailer as well. It's actually going to look that good.
And he said, I can't remember the exact numbers now. I believe he said there were 20 games in development for PlayStation 4 at the internal studios, worldwide studios. 12 of which were new IP, of which that was one. That is a lot of new games to look forward to. That's very, very exciting.
They said there were 30 games in development. 20 would be coming out in the launch window, 12 were new IP.
I don't know which one of us is right, but one of us is. If we keep on saying stuff, we're going to get it right eventually. And the other thing, this is when Rob properly lost it when we were watching the conference.
So excited.
Where there was like, I think we're going to talk about Square Enix, and we're going to talk about Final Fantasy, and I think as with loads of Final Fantasy fans, it's a roller coaster relationship with the series. Like, you love this series so much, and why can't they always give me what I want? And as we were watching that trailer, Rob went from hot, like very cold, to just bursting into flames, and then they brought out Kingdom Hearts 3 and you stood up. So tell us first of all about what it means. Final Fantasy, like, I think it's fair to say that to the outsider, Final Fantasy 13 versus becoming Final Fantasy 15, that doesn't make a whole bunch of sense to a lot of people. Tell us what's going on.
No, well, originally Final Fantasy Versus 13 was part of the Fabula Nova Crystallis branch of games, which was Final Fantasy 13, Final Fantasy Versus 13, and a mobile game called Final Fantasy Agito.
Right.
13.
And now there's Final Fantasy 13 2.
And now Final Fantasy 13 was released, then Final Fantasy 13 2 was released, and quite soon we're going to have Final Fantasy Lightning Returns, Final Fantasy 13, which is the third game in the Final Fantasy 13 franchise. So calling the new Final Fantasy, which is now on PS4, as we saw, calling it Versus 13, I guess Square thought that would kind of make it sound a bit old.
And what does the Versus connotate as well? Because that's got a specific thing in the Final Fantasy series, correct?
No.
Excellent. I thought it meant that it was more of an action game, like rather than an RPG game.
It is more of an action game, yeah. The Versus was just a, I don't know what it meant, it was just a quirk, a title they put in there. Good. But it could denote that it was more of an action game. It was originally being developed by Tetsuya Nomura, who is head of the Kingdom Hearts branch, like the Kingdom Hearts team. So he was making.
I wanted this to get more intricate.
He was making more of a kind of third-person action-adventure RPG, rather than a turn-based traditional JRPG like Final Fantasy 13 is, which is what Versus 13 was going to be.
This has gone on for longer than I expected.
And now it looks kind of the same. More, it's still like from the trailer, looked like a big action RPG more than a traditional turn-based thing. But now that is Final Fantasy 15. That's what the action in the game. The next numbered iteration of Final Fantasy 15 is going to bring.
The action looks brilliant.
That's all I've got to say. Amazing when the camera panned out and it showed that huge world.
Yeah, the kind of the giant semicircular castle building. You kind of go, that's what Final Fantasy.
Having that as the next numbered iteration in the Final Fantasy series is quite a bold move as well, because Final Fantasy's never really broken away from that kind of traditional, anchored in a turn-based battle system way. I mean, Final Fantasy 13 innovated a bit, but now it looks like they're going full-on action with it, which it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. I can imagine some fans won't be happy with it, but
no way.
I'm willing to give it the benefit of the
doubt.
And this is a man who looked amazing.
I mean, you're a cynical, hard-to-please man, but this has warmed your dark heart. And Kingdom Hearts 3, dude. What happened
then they
there?
did Kingdom Hearts 3.
I mean, Kingdom Hearts is a series I've played. I mean, I'm kind of a Disney geek. I love Disney, and I love the fact that Disney, which is a company which holds tight to its treasured properties and characters, and they let them come into this kind of Final Fantasy-esque adventure world, and that's kind of the series.
Fantastic.
So what's Kingdom Hearts 3? What's going on?
No story details at all in Kingdom Hearts 3. It was just announced, but I'd all but given up hope of ever seeing Kingdom Hearts 3 after Kingdom Hearts 2 came out, I think in 2007 on the PS2. Yeah. It was amazing, fantastic game, and then they brought out a load of kind of spin-off sequels on the handhelds on the PSP, and I've given up hope of ever seeing a full-blown Kingdom Hearts sequel.
And why does it make you excited?
Because Kingdom Hearts is one of my favourite games of the PS2 generation. Absolutely fantastic action-adventure game. I never thought they were going to continue the story. They kind of left the story at the end of number 2, kind of on a sort of, will there be a sequel? And everyone was hoping there was going to be a sequel.
I played it, I didn't really understand what was going on.
And there never was.
Well, I loved it.
And now there is going to be a sequel on PS4, and that's just mega exciting.
And finally, Rob, I've left it to the very end because selfishly it's the game probably I'm most excited for, which is Destiny.
Destiny does look unbelievably good. I've got to admit.
We haven't seen any gameplay. I mean, we've seen glimpses of in-game stuff, some screenshots. I rewatched the mostly concept art preview video like a lot before E3, and then just seeing it work in game. Oh man! I mean,
the lighting was amazing.
And it's the first time PlayStation gamers will have would have gotten their hands on something by Bungie, who obviously made like the Halo series, which is a huge, influential sci-fi world, and they're bringing the same style, the same kind of hand. You know, that you can see the same artist's hand behind this world. It's a kind of a ruined Earth. Not tons of details about why. It's got persistent online multiplayer set to it. So they were playing co-op in the trailer, and then they went into kind of a live encounter, which kind of it looked like an
just
instant
changed from a co-op mission to a public
and they were
event.
fighting other men. Yeah, I love fighting other men. I love the world. I love the shooting. The radar made me more excited than I can. I love the way they make games, and I am so pumped for Destiny. It's not even true. So I've just spoken about that. What do you think about it?
Well, from a man who's never really played a Bungie game before, it just looks amazing. The world, very striking sci-fi universe. I mean, I'm mega hot for sci-fi at the best of times.
Yep.
Like Killzone, Shadowfall looks amazing. Destiny.
I want to know more about that world as well.
Arrive at, yeah, I mean the fact that it's a persistent online universe that you can get lost and have like loads of single player fun in there, and then seamlessly just drop into these epic looking, huge in scale multiplayer encounters. Just looks amazing. And when that game comes out in 2014, I'm going to be getting it and playing it on my toilet with my PlayStation V.
That. Why would you say that? That's after one of the most exciting days in the life of a PlayStation gamer for years. That's the second time you've mentioned your toilet. So I think that's it for the end of day one of E3 2013. There are tons of other games which we've not even had a chance to talk about yet. New trailers, lots of exciting stuff going on. We're going to be here tomorrow and the next day, day 2 and day 3 of E3. So join us then and say goodbye, Rob.
Bye.
Goodbye.